Good morning, Tempe. So I'm sitting out behind the library. Sorry, I've got dog fluff fluffing on my nose. My dog, fluffiest butt ever. Like, he's got pantaloons like nobody's business. So I wanted to do my interview this morning that I had anonymously. I didn't feel comfortable having the gentleman who came up to do an interview doing that on camera. I'm all about protecting anonymity, giving people full autonomy to share what they want to share without feeling like they're ousting themselves. I was talking earlier, actually, when the gentleman came up to me. I was talking about, or I was going to at least talk about how I think that most people are going to really want or need anonymity if they're going to be sharing their personal journeys through homelessness, because it's one of the most degrading and shameful situations you will ever find yourself in. I get teary-eyed just thinking about it, honestly. Most people aren't like me. They're not going to be putting out their business out there. I had to, because I don't qualify for services. Like, I never would have been seen. My case never would have been pulled if I had not put myself out there in a real way to y'all. Most people, and the other thing is I don't have people. So, like, people aren't looking me up online going, look at that shit she got herself into. Shame on her. Like, and even if they were, I wouldn't give any fucks about it. Like, I really don't care what anybody thinks about me. So I'm going to put all my stuff out there, make myself as real as possible to you guys. But that's just me. I don't have anything to lose. I don't have anything I'm holding on to that I feel like I'm going to lose because I put myself out there in a vulnerable way to you guys, to share my story. So this particular gentleman, I just didn't feel comfortable putting his face to his story, and some of his story I'm going to leave out. But he did give me permission to share some of his journey. He and a couple of family members are out here in Tempe. They're homeless. He's utilizing a program here in Tempe to stay sheltered at night, he and his family members. And he's got some medical things going on. I don't know about the other family members. I have not interviewed them. I can't attach any assumptions to them. After my conversation with him, we did not talk about that in any way, shape, or form. But there's 3 of them. And because of health issues going on, he has ended up homeless and has responsibilities and is worried about that. He's elderly. He's over 65. And what he's looking for is not going to be able to be found in Tempe in any kind of real fast way. I set him up with some phone numbers of organizations here in the Valley that he should try to work through once he gets his health information all together, because those are the people that are going to house he and his family. It won't be Tempe. If it is, it's going to be a long wait. So from the information that I gathered, I didn't ask him, I just listened. So the information that he gave me leads me to believe that it'll be a long minute here in Tempe if he stays here. And they're going to stay here because it's the safest place to be. As a matter of fact, Tempe, I'm just going to remind you, I'm telling everybody about the services that you have here, and I'm sticking all of those services in anybody's hands that wants them, needs them, or wants to pass them on. If I see a homeless person, I'm telling them about Hope Outreach, and I'm giving them contact names. And if they need this, and this services, I'm going to have them call you, because you're the ones that are going to get it done. So I'm doing that. So you're going to start, I've already started giving out your number. And I'm going to do that every time, because that's what Tempe has to offer, backed by Tempe. So if somebody says, I'm here homeless in Tempe, I'm going to say, well, everywhere you go, you give out this zip code then. So you can get services, so you can be protected while you're in Tempe trying to figure stuff out. Lots of agencies send their homeless here and tuck them into iHelp. They do it through Hope Outreach and through iHelp itself. I'm not doing anything different. I'm just a citizen. And I want people to know what's going on. So that's what I'm doing. Just a reminder of what I'm doing so you know. I spoke to a lot of people this morning. So many things are needed. And they're here for safety. Like every person I talk to, I just can't say it enough, are in Tempe because they know they're going to be protected here. Like citizens aren't fucking with you most of the time here in Tempe. You know, they know that citizens are going to wrap their arms around them and say, hey, dude, how are you today? Is there anything I can help you out with? Can I get you a soda? When you see somebody sleeping on a sidewalk, you go in and you get them a Gatorade and just place it next to them. I mean, that's some real stuff, man. People are coming here for safety, and I'm going to make sure this is a safe place for them by offering them the information that is needed so they can get housed and up on and out of here, because we know Tempe's not going to do it. We know Tempe's not going to be able to do most housing here. So I'm giving out information to other organizations also that are going to be able to help them, but I'm giving them a map. I'm giving people a map. Stay in Tempe. Utilize our services for safety. Here's who's going to be able to house you. Get this health information together, then go to this organization. While you're going through that organization, stay in this organization for safety. A meal, maybe a shower, some clean clothes, some loving arms wrapped around you as you walk in the streets. That's what Tempe is. That's why people come here. Like, that is some real stuff, Mayor. I just cannot say it enough. So important. You're not going to stay sober on the streets if you don't have arms wrapped around you. People have gotten sober in Tempe on the streets. I've watched it happen many times over. That's real. Start sharing the information so people can get some serious help. They're not floating around out there looking like a blight, feeling like they should be so ashamed of themselves. I can't tell if my shirt is reflecting onto y'all or not. It's bugging me. Start sharing your information. People are coming here for safety. We have services that can help people while they're in the process of working services through their SMI, through their, addiction program. We have that, and we have a ton of people that care. This older gentleman needs to get some health information together so he can get his life back on track, because he has responsibilities. It's not just him. It's not just him. And that presents a whole new set of problems, because it's not just him. Because that can cause people to lose voucher as well. Because as soon as one of them starts working, their voucher will go away really quickly, especially if they got it through Tempe. Like, if you've gotten your voucher through Tempe and you get a roommate or you start working and you've had income, your voucher could go away really, really quickly. You've got to be really careful. I just watched one person lose her voucher. And that was through her SMI client. So this isn't even a Tempe issue. She got a roommate and she's lost her voucher. Now, if something happens to that roommate, she's screwed. That's a real thing. She was on the streets for 10 years. Got lost in the shuffle for a really long time. She and her husband sobered up on the streets. Stayed sober. They worked that out. They did that. And it was really hard. And now, because she got a roommate, she's lost her voucher. If anything happens with that roommate, one thing, she's back out on the streets. She's back out on the streets. So, yeah, it was a really good morning. I had lots of conversations. I was able to get a lot of information out to people. People are hearing about me, so they're coming up and asking me, hey, are you the one doing interviews? Yes, I am. Yes, sir, I am. Come out and do an interview with me anytime. On Mondays, I've been given I probably last about another month and a half. I've been given $25 gift cards for people that want to do interviews. So I'm giving one every Monday to the first person that wants to do an interview until they run out. I think I've got 4 or 5 left. I'll have to look. But those are available, and I would prefer an anonymous interview, honestly. But if you want to attach a face to your story, please, because it's important. But if you can't, for whatever reason, you need to protect yourself, then you do that. I'll be glad to take notes, do an interview, and share your information just like I'm doing here. There's an elderly man, homeless here in Tempe, that has responsibilities other than himself. He's been sitting in iHelp for a good long minute and hasn't gotten any of the phone numbers that I handed him today. Tempe, you need to fix that shit. Because otherwise, what's the point? And look at the colossal waste of money you're wasting. People are coming into iHelp thinking that they are going to get a voucher somehow. This ambiguity needs to stop, because it's harming people and it's giving people false hope. And the one thing that we hear all the time is, you must have gotten false hope. That is really shameful, to attach that to people that are just trying to survive every day, listening to what's being told to them, and then there's no follow through. That false hope was then given. They didn't just pick that up. Ambiguity needs to leave homelessness immediately. It has no place in homelessness, and it takes away all autonomy for people to make choices safely, like in my case. That's real. So again, I beseech you, Mayor, come down and talk about the programs you have going on for the working poor that you're working out, that are just above the poverty line, that are unprotected in the city. I would love for you to talk about that. People are coming on. They're going to start interviewing. You're going to start hearing some stories about why people are really here. And you can choose to partake and listen or not. That's really up to you. I can't change your mind about that. But don't say they haven't been offered, because I'm going to offer you a whole bunch of them. And they're not all drug addicts and SMI. And even if they were, still so worthy. And I can't say it enough. When you didn't have my back, Tempe, all those SMI and drug people that you keep talking about that are shameful here in Tempe, they did. They had my back every fucking step of the way. They honored me. They treated me with dignity. They made sure I was safe. They came and got me when I was stuck up into some situation I couldn't get out of. They gave me a place to stay when I needed one really bad, because there was no place safe in Tempe even for me sometimes. So when you're shaming, publicly shaming, by the way, people that don't have the ability to get up on out of their situation, or are so stuck in a situation that they don't have enough arms wrapped around them to get up out of it, those are the people that have our backs, not you. If you don't want hearsay out there spread around, then start spreading out correct information. Because otherwise, not only are you saying we're getting false hope, you're also saying to us, well, that's just hearsay. That's not valid. If somebody from an agency didn't tell you that, that's not valid. Also not cool. Not cool. I'm going to try to get as many interviews for you as possible, Mayor. Some real interviews, not just special people that you invited up because you know their story. All of our stories are really, really important and vital if you want to make decisions that actually are going to make a difference and a dent. And I tell people all the time, if you couldn't help this one Tempe residence that's $20 over the federal poverty line, you sure the fuck aren't going to give a fuck about the most vulnerable. And that's just real as shit. That's just real as shit. Because Tempe is also all about Tempe. And you didn't give fucks about this one resident. These things can change. And they can change quickly if you want them to. They can happen as fast as your private meetings. Because if it's legal for you to have private meetings about the homeless without open meeting laws applying, then you must be able to wiggle funding around too. I mean, I'm just assuming. I'd really like to know. I'm still really curious about TBRA. Like, I'm going to figure that out. There's something twisted in Tempe going on with TBRA. And I will share my story. And I have all your emails to back that up. That story is coming soon. TBRA. tenant-based rental assistance. All residents should call the City of Tempe Housing Department and seriously ask them why they don't have a process for TBRA, which is something that the HUD website specifically says must be. They don't have that here. It's a little shell game going on with TBRA, and I will figure it out. And once I do, that's going to slam right into your lap, Mayor. I've been talking to you about it for a really long time. One way or another, that is going to come forward. That is going to come forward. Y'all have a good day. I've got so much more to talk about regarding the people that I spoke to this morning. I've got 3 stories, actually. One of them was just the older gentleman. I wanted to share his plight. He's sitting in a program right now in Tempe, not being helped except for with a bed, and he's got problems that he needs help with, and he needs some arms wrapped around him, and iHelp is not set up to do that. iHelp is a lot of hot air and words, and they're not doing what they're saying they're doing. They might have somebody that has housing program attached to their title. Trust me when I tell you, they're not getting housed through that housing program manager. If it happens, it's incredibly rare. Again, taxpayers, you should request reports about how many iHelp is actually housed. I mean, they've housed, not that they're helping Empath or Home Inc. house from Phoenix. Seriously, you guys need to start asking some questions. If you want to know where your taxpayer dollars are going, you need to start asking some questions. I'll put out there my information. Maybe you can ask some off of mine, because a lot of you are working poor just above the poverty line like I am. And you're one paycheck, one disease, one event away from homelessness. And if you're in my situation, Tempe has nothing to cover you. They don't have anything to cover you. Start asking questions now, because the cracks are there, and you're going to fall really swiftly. And then you're going to be told ambiguous wording and that you got false hope through it. And it will crush you, because Tempe's telling you stuff that's not true. They're telling you you're covered, and you're not. And that's real in every way. I hope you never find yourself here. Because it's a hard and lonely journey that is undignified and shameful. And most of it's not self-imposed. So I hope I can get some face-to-face interviews, but if I don't, this will be why. And I don't blame them. Because all that this will do then is to promote more judgment in their lives. And that I'm not going to do. So they may all be anonymous, I'm still going to pray about it. But as of this morning, they were all anonymous. I'll get back to you with the other 2 later. Y'all have a good day. I appreciate all y'all.